Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Justin. It's Thursday. That means we're back at the movies for another review. And this week we're going to be taking another subscriber request. Today we're going to be doing the 1995 Kevin Reynolds directed Waterworld. This stars Kevin Costner, Tina Majorino, Jean Triplehorn, Dennis Hopper, Jack Black, and a slew of others. I don't recall if I saw this when I was younger, but when it first came out in 1995, I do remember seeing it, a few years later for sure. And I gotta be honest, I've never been a big fan of Waterworld. I'm a big fan of Kevin Reynolds as a director. He directed a movie called 187 with Samuel L. Jackson, which is an excellent movie. I highly recommend it. He also directed the Hatfields and the McCoys miniseries that also starred Kevin Costner. And that is one of the best miniseries I can remember seeing in a long time. So he's a very talented director. And I am a big Kevin Costner fan. Dances with Wolves is one of the all-time great movies, in my opinion. There's just something missing about Waterworld. It's actually an entertaining concept, and it's actually a concept that could happen, not to the extremes of the movie, but could happen in real life, and is happening in real life. So a brief overview for anybody who hasn't seen the movie is, with global warming, the ice caps melt, and what ends up happening is it literally floods the entire planet. The entire planet is hundreds of feet above sea. The seas have risen hundreds of feet, thousands of feet, and have literally covered the earth in water. And the people who remain alive have formed these little bands of, makeshift apartments, so to speak, that just sit in the middle of the ocean, and they just eke out a living through fishing, osmosis of turning urine into water, catching whatever rainwater they can. It's a hard life. And then you have Kevin Costner's character, who's a drifter. He doesn't want to stay in one spot. He travels. He survives on his own. And you find out more about him as the movie goes on. He's actually evolved to the point where he can swim underwater for long periods of time because on the back of his ears he has gills. That's what's happened in this world. People have had to adapt. And he has. And he actually is able to use these abilities to basically con his way to getting things that he needs. Whether it's a part for his boat, whether it's, something else that he needs. He has the ability to swim down to where these big cities used to be and collect dirt, collect paper, let it dry out, and then those commodities have become very valuable. Then you have the likes of Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper is the captain of this large ship that actually happens to be the Exxon Valdez. And he's searching for dry land. He has heard this myth that there is still one place on the planet where dry land still exists. And you could survive there, and you could thrive there. No more struggling to survive on the oceans. He's heard this myth, and the myth becomes real when Tina Majorino's character comes. She was born, I believe. It's been a little while since I've seen that. She was born on dry land and taken. And she was tattooed with a map on her back of how to get to dry land. At least that's the myth. So it ends up becoming a race, as Dennis Hopper wants Tina Majorino's character, dead or alive. Kevin Costner who, despite the fact has been a loner, is convinced to help and develops this bond with both her character and Jean Triplehorn, who is like a pseudo mother. And it basically becomes a cat and mouse game. So it's an effective story, and there are parts of the movie that I like. There's big sequences, where you're seeing what has happened with the world, like people evolving, animals evolving, and I enjoy apocalyptic movies. I do. In fact, I've had this argument with the person who requested this film. I prefer The Postman, also by starring Kevin Costner, over Waterworld. It's just never. I've just never been able to get behind this movie completely. It's certainly, in my opinion, not a good movie. There are good elements to it, but I've never been able to get behind it fully. I'm a big Kevin Costner fan, but this one, and I haven't done this very often on the channel. This one I can't even label an okay movie. It's a bad movie. How bad? It's not one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it's certainly not worthy of anything above a 6. So because of that, I'm going to give Waterworld a 5.7. It's a bad movie. It's not the worst movie of all time, and there are things that I enjoy about it. But some of the acting is terrible. It gets silly at times, and in good conscience, I can't give it anything more than a 5.7. That's my review of Waterworld. If you like this video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time at the movies. Take care.